Hi, my name is Frank Schaeffer, and my background in politics is one of a journey from the far right to a progressive, moderate position. My journey on religion is the same, as I express in my new book, Why I Am an Atheist Who Believes in God. A weird title, except for one thing: I don't believe in labels. Having been on a journey myself, I know people can change. I know some atheists sometimes pray. I know a lot of Christians sometimes give up their faith and doubt, then come back to their faith. I know that a lot of us fall in love and fall out of love. I know that if you can't even define love, how are you supposed to define whether, quote, God exists or not? So what I believe in is paradox and ambivalence and learning and openness, as opposed to what I call in my book addiction to certainty. And no one has been more addicted to certainty recently or pretended to be than Donald Trump. It's a kind of a derangement that has afflicted the right wing in America for a long time. But Trump is going to lose this election, and not just because he's a hopeless, moronic, self-satisfied, egotistical buffoon, which he is, but because the arc of American history is toward progress. We are not a bunch of backward, angry xenophobes. We are better than that. And Hillary Clinton represents that better future. When I look at this election and I realize how I traveled from the extreme of the religious right back in the 70s and 80s with our anti-feminist and anti-gay movement to the place we have now, I understand that there's hope for all of us, because I was one of the worst offenders. I was one of those people railing against the liberals and what they're trying to do to us and all the rest of it. And at a certain point I just stood back and said, do I really want to be this person? Do I really want to be this negative pit into which other people's hatred is poured and out of which I pour more hatred? When I look back at the last 8 years of President Barack Obama, he has been a wonderful leader. He has shown us the way toward moderation, thoughtfulness, good decisions, a lack of paranoia, a lack of lashing out, not answering his enemies in kind, no flurry of tweets about how stupid anybody is who disagrees with him. A rational, sane person. In fact, that's what's driven the right crazy, because here is a black American sitting in the White House, more mature, more brilliant, with more leadership qualities that history is going to be very kind to, while the Republicans in Congress, a bunch of racists, tried to shut down his presidency from day one through disrespect, through lies, everything from the birther movement and so forth. And then here comes Donald Trump, who was one of the fathers of the birther movement, who has never met a conspiracy that he didn't like, who apparently has never read a history book and has no clue about foreign policy. You could take almost anybody off the street, blindfold them, stick them in the White House, and they would know more right now about foreign policy than Donald Trump does, who's only concentrated on one thing, apparently: going to bed with any woman he likes or lusts after, whether she's married or unmarried or whatever, over the last years, judging by his record, conspiring with his father at one point until the Nixon administration sued him for trying to keep black people out of his rental properties, and since then pursuing this xenophobic, racist rant against most Americans, white and brown and black, male, female, gay, straight, to try to, quote, bring America back or make it great again. His term being, make America great again, make it white again. He is a great illustration of that old adage in the African American community, that a white man's heaven is a black man's hell. Trump is trying to create a hell for everyone who is not like him, rich, coddled, spoiled, like his kids who think it's a good thing to go off into the African bush and other places and shoot big game animals just for the hell of it and have their dumb macho-ass pictures taken with them. All these shady businesses he's been involved with going bankrupt so he doesn't have to pay subcontractors. His, quote, university that has ripped off the very working people that he now says he's trying to support. Trump is a danger, an existential threat to this country. Not because he's a Republican or even because he's conservative, but because he is slime. He is the underbelly of American culture, giving permission to all the other people who are fueled by stupidity, by fantasy, by hatred, by a closed loop of right-wing disinformation on everything from global warming to gay rights, to women's rights, to black rights, to voting rights. Let's join together. Black, white, brown, Asian, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, atheist, Hindu, the wonderful Asian community that we have in this country. And let's send a message to our present and to our future, and to the millennials and all those others saying, we stand with you for a better future than this. And I have a message for my millennial friends. Even though I'm just this old fart 64-year-old grandfather and father, there are people like me who are fighting for your future. And you want to get out there and vote and help us put Hillary Clinton, a well-prepared, sane human being, in the White House. Whether you like her personally or not, or trust her or not, that's not the point. The difference is between sanity and normality and a future in which you can prosper. As a millennial, as somebody with the future ahead of you, as a student, whomever. And a cliff that leads to exactly what we know. We've seen this in our American past when hatred is given permission. It's people swinging from a tree in the night as a bunch of white ignoramuses stand around and jeer. That's the future. It's war without end as we insult our friends and enemies alike through stupidity. That's Trump's future. Hillary Clinton holds out a different future. It follows the arc of American progress, where we go from segregation to integration, where we go from racism to tolerance, where a fool like me can be a right-wing activist in the 70s and help spawn the hate-filled anti-abortion movement that wound up bombing clinics. And here I am at 64 fighting for the first female president, having just spent 8 years blogging and speaking and talking and going on media presentations to do what? Defend my first black president. If I can change, so can you. If I can change, the arc of America is safe, because there's a lot of other white people my age out there who are not hate-filled bigots. Wherever we came from, we have seen the light. We honor President Obama for his 8 years of tremendous service, his humbling leadership of this country as he has been persecuted over these years by a white, horrible, racist group of Republicans in the Senate and Congress. Let's push these people back where they belong. We will always have slime at the bottom of the pond. There's no point in stirring it up and drinking it. So join me and join millions of others, and let's fight for Hillary Clinton, and let's stop Donald Trump from taking us backward and look forward into a bright and lovely future that we can all have, whatever our color, race, or creed, if we will join together and stop this fascistic bum from denigrating this country through the lies and the perversity of his campaign. Thank you. My name's Frank Schaeffer.